I never expected my own family to try to steal my restaurant on opening night. What started as my dream celebration turned into a nightmare when they walked in with legal documents claiming ownership. You won't believe what happened when I discovered their real plan, but the way I fought back shocked everyone, including myself. By the end of this story, you'll see how I turned their betrayal into my greatest victory. But before we continue, check if you're already subscribed to the channel and write in the comments, where are you watching this video from? The moment I unlock Bella's kitchen for opening night, I know something's wrong. My hands shake as I flip the sign from closed to open, not from nerves about my first customers, but because I spot my parents' silver Mercedes pulling into the parking lot 20 minutes early. They're supposed to arrive at 7 with the other family guests, but it's only 6:40. Mom steps out wearing her courthouse blazer, the one she reserves for real estate closings and serious business meetings. Dad follows, carrying a leather briefcase I've never seen before. My younger brother Marcus emerges from the back seat, phone already recording. The pit in my stomach deepens when I see my sister Amanda walking behind them, her expression cold and determined. Through the restaurant's glass doors, I watch them approach with military precision. This isn't the proud family I expected to celebrate with tonight. This is an intervention, and I'm the target. The brass door chimes announce their entrance into my carefully designed dining room. Italian herbs scent the air from tonight's special marinara, candles flicker on every table, and soft jazz plays from the sound system I installed myself during 3 months of 18-hour renovation days. Sophia, honey, we need to talk before your guests arrive, Mom says, her voice carrying that artificial sweetness she uses with difficult real estate clients. She doesn't admire the exposed brick walls I spent weeks cleaning, or the vintage light fixtures I found at estate sales across 3 counties. Dad sets his briefcase on table 12, the corner booth I designated as my family's spot for tonight's celebration. The leather case lands with a decisive thud that echoes through my empty restaurant like a judge's gavel. Before we go any further, Amanda interrupts. We should discuss the elephant in the room. She gestures broadly at my restaurant, encompassing everything from the hand-painted menu boards to the commercial espresso machine that cost me 4 months of savings. This family business belongs to all of us, Dad announces, unlatching his briefcase with practiced efficiency. Your mother and I have been discussing the situation with our attorney. My knees nearly buckle. Family business. I built Bella's kitchen entirely alone, working 3 jobs for 2 years to save the down payment. Spending every weekend for 8 months stripping wallpaper and refinishing floors in this abandoned space that nobody else wanted. Marcus continues filming from his phone, positioning himself to capture my reaction. This is for the family documentary, he explains, with a smirk I want to wipe off his face. Sophia, Mom begins, pulling papers from Dad's briefcase. We've prepared partnership agreements that formalize everyone's contributions. Your father's business expertise, my marketing background, Amanda's social media skills, and Marcus's video production talents. Amanda steps forward, her designer heels clicking against the hardwood floors I installed myself. I've already started the Instagram account for our family restaurant. We've got 300 followers since yesterday. Our restaurant. The words scrape my throat raw. I signed the lease. I got the permits. I worked overtime at the diner to pay for every piece of equipment in this kitchen. Dad waves dismissively. Individual contributions don't negate family ownership. Sophia, we raised you, supported your culinary dreams, and provided the foundation that made this possible. Through the front windows, I see cars beginning to fill the parking lot. My invited guests, food critics from the local paper, neighboring business owners, longtime customers from the diner, who promised to support my new venture. They're arriving for what they believe is Sophia Taylor's restaurant opening, not a family power grab. The paperwork is straightforward. Mom continues, spreading documents across the table. Equal partnership shares, with your father as managing partner given his business experience. My vision blurs with rage and disbelief. Managing partner of the restaurant I conceptualized, financed, and built with my own hands. Stop! My voice cuts through their orchestrated presentation like a knife through butter. Before you continue this performance, there's something you need to see. I walk behind the bar to retrieve the accordion file I keep in my office, the one containing every receipt, permit application, and legal document related to Bella's kitchen. My hands steady as I return to confront my family's attempted coup. "This is the lease agreement," I announce, slapping the first document onto their neat stack of partnership papers. "Signed by Sophia Taylor only, with a personal guarantee that put my credit score at risk." Dad reaches for the lease, his confident expression wavering. "Family support doesn't always require signatures, Sophia." "Family support." I laugh, a bitter sound that surprises even me. "Let me show you what family support actually looks like." From my file, I extract my loan applications, each one bearing rejection stamps from 7 different banks. Declined due to insufficient collateral. Declined due to lack of business experience. Declined due to inadequate down payment. I spread the rejections across the table, like playing cards in a poker game where I finally hold the winning hand. "I asked both of you to co-sign a single loan application. Just one. You both refused." Mom's face flushes. "We explained that our credit was tied up in other investments." Other investments, like Amanda's graduate school tuition, and Marcus's film equipment. I pull out bank statements, highlighting the exact dates they transferred funds to my siblings, while simultaneously declining my loan request. Amanda shifts uncomfortably, her phone no longer trained on me. "That's different. Education is an investment in our futures. And this restaurant isn't an investment in mine." I gesture around the dining room that represents 2 years of sacrificed sleep, skipped meals, and social isolation. Marcus lowers his recording phone completely, perhaps recognizing that this family confrontation won't make the heartwarming documentary he envisioned. Through the windows, more guests arrive. I spot Janet Morrison from the Tribune, her camera already hanging around her neck. "The review that could make or break my restaurant depends on the next 2 hours going perfectly. I have more evidence," I continue, my voice growing stronger with each revelation. 6 months ago, when I was painting this dining room at midnight after my double shifts at Romano's Diner, I called asking for help. "Just a few hours of painting. Do you remember what you've told me?" The silence stretches between us like a fault line ready to fracture. Amanda said she had a yoga retreat. Marcus had a date he couldn't reschedule. Mom claimed her back was acting up, and Dad suggested I hire professionals if I wanted the job done right. I pull out my phone, scrolling to a specific photo dated 6 months ago. This is me at 2 in the morning, standing on a stepladder I borrowed from my neighbor, painting these walls alone while you were all posting on social media about your weekend activities. The photo shows me exhausted, paint splattered, but determined. Behind me, half-finished walls revealed the transformation from abandoned storefront to my dream restaurant. "Sophia, we didn't realize you needed help." Mom attempts weakly. I asked specifically, multiple times. I retrieve text message screenshots from my phone, displaying the digital trail of my ignored requests. Here's me asking for help moving equipment. Here's me asking for advice on permit applications. Here's me asking if anyone wanted to taste test menu items. Each screenshot shows my messages followed by delayed responses filled with excuses, suggestions to ask someone else, or complete radio silence. Dad attempts to regain control. Past miscommunications don't negate current opportunities for partnership. I step closer, my anger finally finding its voice. Where was this partnership when I spent my savings on liability insurance? Where was it when I worked 70-hour weeks to afford commercial appliances? Amanda tries a different approach. "Sophia, we're family. Family businesses are stronger together. Then why didn't you offer partnership when I was struggling? Why does this partnership conversation only happen now that I'm successful?" Janet Morrison peers through the front window, checking her watch. Other guests cluster around the entrance, reading the small sign I posted announcing opening at 7. My reputation and future depend on the next hour proceeding flawlessly, but my family has turned my celebration into a battlefield. "Here's what's going to happen," I announce, gathering their bogus partnership agreements into a neat pile. "You can stay for dinner as my invited guests and celebrate my accomplishment, or you can leave now and continue this conversation through attorneys." Dad's face reddens with frustration. "Sophia, you're being unreasonable. We're trying to help you succeed. By claiming ownership of something you never helped build." I walk to the restaurant's front door, turning the deadbolt with a decisive click. "I'm opening in 15 minutes, with or without you here as supportive family members." Marcus raises his phone again, perhaps sensing drama worth documenting. Sophia, don't you think you're overreacting? We're just trying to protect the family's interests. The family's interests. I whirl to face him directly. When I was eating ramen noodles for dinner so I could save money for restaurant supplies, were you protecting my interests? When I was working double shifts at the diner while you were building your YouTube channel, were you concerned about my future? Through the windows, I watched Janet Morrison approach the door, her press badge visible. She'll be writing the review that determines whether Bella's Kitchen survives its first month or becomes another failed restaurant statistic. Time's up, I announce to my family, stay as guests or leave as adversaries. But these partnership papers are going in the trash where they belong. Amanda makes one final attempt. Sophia, what if we compromise? Maybe a smaller percentage, just to keep everyone involved. I shake my head, walking to the industrial shredder behind my bar. The only involvement I'm interested in is you ordering dinner and supporting my dream like real family members should. The shredder's motor hums to life as I feed their partnership agreements into the blades, watching legal documents become confetti. My parents exchange glances, their authority crumbling like the shredded papers scattered around the machine. For the first time in my adult life, I've drawn a line they can't cross. Fine, Dad says stiffly, closing his empty briefcase. We'll stay for dinner. As guests. And the Instagram account? I ask Amanda directly. She fidgets with her phone. I'll transfer admin access to you. And the filming? I look at Marcus, who's still holding his phone but no longer recording. Just family memories. Now, he mumbles. Not for any documentary. I unlock the front door precisely at 7 o'clock. Janet Morrison enters first, her professional smile warm and encouraging. Sophia, the space looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait to try everything. Thank you so much for coming, I respond, my voice steady despite the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. Let me show you to your table. As I seat my first customers, I notice my family taking their places at table 12. They look subdued, almost sheepish, but they're here. Mom studies the menu I designed, Dad examines the wine list I curated, and both siblings sit quietly. The evening unfolds exactly as I dreamed. Guests rave about my signature pasta dishes. The herb-crusted salmon receives multiple compliments, and Janet Morrison takes detailed notes throughout her meal. The restaurant fills with laughter, conversation, and the satisfied sounds of people enjoying exceptional food. Around 9:30, as the crowd begins to thin, Dad approaches the bar where I'm reviewing the night's receipts. Sophia, he begins quietly. The meal was excellent. Truly, restaurant quality. I look up from my calculations, meeting his eyes directly. Thank you. I owe you an apology, he continues. We handled tonight poorly. We should have approached this differently. Mom joins us, her courthouse blazer now draped over her chair. We're proud of what you've accomplished here. Really proud. For a moment, the anger that's fueled me all evening softens into something resembling forgiveness. 3 weeks later, I'm reviewing Bella's Kitchen's first month financial statements when Amanda calls, her voice unusually subdued. Sophia, I need to tell you something about that night. She begins as, the partnership idea wasn't spontaneous. I set down my pen, giving her my full attention. What do you mean? Dad's been planning it since you signed the lease. He convinced Mom that successful family businesses need family management, and he thought you'd be grateful for the help. The revelation doesn't surprise me, but hearing it confirmed still stings. How long were you all discussing this behind my back? Months, Amanda admits. Dad researched restaurant failure rates and convinced everyone you'd need family support to survive. Marcus was going to document our success story for his film portfolio. I walked to my office window, looking out at the lunch crowd filling my dining room. 3 weeks of positive reviews, repeat customers, and steady profits prove that Dad's concerns were unfounded projections of his own doubts about my abilities. There's more, Amanda continues. Dad contacted your landlord last week, asking about adding additional names to your lease agreement. My blood runs cold. He did? What? Mr. Peterson called Dad back and said lease modifications require tenant approval. That's when Dad realized you had more control than he thought. I sink into my office chair, processing this new level of betrayal. They weren't just trying to claim partnership after my success, they were actively trying to legally insert themselves into my business arrangements. Why are you telling me this now? I ask. Amanda's voice wavers slightly. Because I realize what we almost did to you, and because I want you to know that Marcus and I weren't really part of Dad's plan. We were just following his lead. Through my office doorway, I watch Carlos, my sous chef, preparing orders with the same precision and passion I bring to everything I do. My staff believes in this restaurant because I believe in it, not because family members demanded recognition. 6 months after opening night, Bella's Kitchen has become exactly what I envisioned. The Tribune Review called it an intimate gem showcasing authentic Italian cuisine with modern flair. We're booked solid on weekends, and I've hired 3 additional staff members. My family has found their appropriate place in my life. Mom occasionally stops by for lunch, always paying her bill and complimenting my seasonal menu changes. Dad brings business associates for dinner, proudly introducing me as his daughter, the successful restaurator, no longer trying to claim credit for my achievements. Amanda completed a social media marketing certification and now helps me manage Bella's Kitchen's online presence as my paid consultant, not as an owner. Marcus documented our reconciliation process for a short film about family boundaries and entrepreneurship that won a local film festival award. The most important change is internal. I no longer seek their validation for my business decisions or feel guilty about my success. The restaurant thrives because I trusted my vision, worked relentlessly to achieve it, and refused to let anyone diminish my accomplishments. Last Sunday, my entire family gathered at Bella's Kitchen for Mom's birthday dinner. As I watched them enjoy the meal I prepared in the restaurant I built, I felt something I'd never experienced before. Complete ownership of my success. Dad raised his glass for a toast to Sophia, who proved that determination and talent create their own opportunities. I smiled, accepting the recognition I'd earned through years of sacrifice and hard work. To family, I replied, who learned to celebrate success instead of claiming it. The evening ended with my family helping me close the restaurant, not as partners or managers, but as relatives who finally understood the difference between supporting someone's dream and trying to steal it. I am Sophia Taylor, and I built Bella's Kitchen with my own hands, my own vision and my own unshakable belief that some dreams are worth fighting for.